we do.
The experts at James Imaging Systems researched your printing process, overall workflow, costs, supplies.
So we went from probably 120, 130 printers down to 50 some odd printers.
And
our cost from supplies perspective went down. I mean, we're talking about thousands in a year. So we saved a lot of money by bringing James Imaging on.
Michael, the benefit as the bank's IT systems administrator?
I don't have to deal with printers. One less thing on my plate.
Anything to add about your experience?
In terms of James Imaging, they've been a great partner.
Switch to document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 11:01. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, July 25th. Your top story, the roar of the Harleys heads to Milwaukee.
I'm Jessica Ty. Recall efforts rev up.
Really nice day today with a high of 76 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Nice and clear tonight as well with a low of 61. Mostly sunny for your Friday and a high of 79. It is 72 degrees in Milwaukee, some light clouds. At 11:01 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom, tens of thousands of Harley-Davidson motorcycles rolling into the company's hometown for the now annual Harley Homecoming. House of Harley Director of Business Development Mark McLean tells TMJ4 News organizers are hopeful the homecoming will become one of Harley's legacy events.
You have Sturgis in South Dakota, Laconia in the Northeast, Daytona in Florida. There's no reason why the hometown of Harley-Davidson, we shouldn't try to create that same momentum and that same enthusiasm here in our hometown.
Festivities kick off this afternoon at Davidson Park and run throughout the weekend. The official kickoff and opening ceremonies are scheduled for 4 o'clock this afternoon.
The Harley Homecoming celebration should be quite the celebration, but prep work for the parties may impact how you get around the city.
Riders coming in from all over the planet. The Harley-Davidson Homecoming means all the aficionados and motorcycle diehards will be all over the place. Getting around the city might be a bit challenging with various road closures, but don't forget about parking. Tons of motorcycle-only parking around the Harley-Davidson Museum, not to mention right around City Hall and outside all the other venues and dealerships. So make sure you keep an eye on those signs so you don't get a ticket. Debbie Laziga, WTMJ News.
Well, more than halfway to the goal, organizers of the effort to recall 4 members of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors are on their way to obtaining the 63,000 signatures needed to trigger the recall. Dr. Tamika Johnson on what's motivating the coalition.
We are Milwaukee residents. We live in high crime areas. We see the results of a failed public district. So it's personal to us.
Recall organizers have until August 13th to submit the signatures to the city.
Milwaukee Public Schools continues to struggle with staffing, especially for key financial office positions as required by the state. The Board of School Directors Vice President offers an explanation.
We're working right now to source applicants, right? So the problems that we've had over the last 18 months don't get solved in 2 months. And so we have to be realistic, and we're going to have a conversation about what, deadlines look like and how we move forward.
Acting Chief Financial Officer Todd Gray has said his first priority in taking the job was to resolve the staffing issues.
Well, the FBI director questions from lawmakers on former President Donald Trump's assassination attempt, offered some insight into the president's injuries. ABC's Rachel Scott.
The FBI director was testifying in front of House lawmakers, and he said it's still an open question about whether the former president was hit with a bullet or shrapnel or another piece of a fragment that hit the former president. Of course, after the shooting, it was Donald Trump that said that he was pierced in the right ear by a bullet. In the days that followed, his doctor released a letter saying that the bullet came within about a quarter inch of his head. The FBI, though, this is still an open investigation.
FBI Director Wray also said on Wednesday the FBI was informed the U.S. Secret Service on an Iranian plot to assassinate the former president, saying that it's likely law enforcement agencies are going to see more brazenness from Iran in the future. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow currently up 377 points, trying to fight its way back from yesterday, currently sitting at 40,230. NASDAQ also bouncing back a little bit, up 78 points at 17,420. S&P 500 up about 35 points today at 5462. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
This report's sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
When I think of the word precision, I think of Tadpole and Craig. Oh, you don't know Tadpole and Craig? Well, you should. They're like world-class musicians, except instead of a tuba, they use a tape measure. In lieu of a lute, they labor in lumber. And the only band they know is a bandsaw. Yes, Tadpole and Craig are prodigies of precision when building log cabins and barns. But when it comes to the quartet of plumbing, electric, heating, and air, old Tadpole and Craig can't hold a candelabra to the masterful maestros at Mr. Holland's Home Services. If your drains are clogged, if your air ducts are dirty, if your water heater is nothing more than a water holder, and if your AC stops singing its summer song, call Mr. Holland's Home Services. We provide the perfect harmony of service and installation to keep your house humming. Call 866-992-1717 or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. If your home is out of tune, we can help.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes won't slow us down. Allergies, high blood pressure, shoulder pain, cancer. Nothing will keep us from pushing Wisconsin ahead. Because with the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, forward progress is what we stand for. That means always pushing and always innovating. With new technologies and breakthrough treatments that make life better, whether we're sick or well. It means providing more convenience and more ways to receive medical excellence for all your health needs, for big and small. It means being there for you, our family, caring for yours. So let's keep raising the bar. Let's keep testing the limits of what medicine can do. Let's push ahead and make life here as great as it can be. Visit Froedtert.com to find out how.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. Brewers enjoying a day off following a 4-1 road trip. Milwaukee begins a 6-day homestand Friday night against the Marlins. Packers will put on the pads for the first time on Saturday. And the NBA signs an 11-year media rights deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon Prime Video beginning with the 2025-26 season. The NBA, playoffs, and WNBA will be featured across the networks and platforms.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We do have 2 crashes I want to let you know about. One is over in the Elm Grove area, I-94 West at Wisconsin 100. The right shoulder is blocked due to a crash there. And if we travel up north a bit closer to the Menominee Falls area, 145 South at Bradley Road, that's also where Leon Road is. The right shoulder is also blocked due to a crash that way. We do have a couple disabled vehicles on the system either, but that's not nearly as much of an issue. Disabled vehicle on the exit to 35th Street from I-94 West in the Milwaukee area, and then closer to the Pewaukee area, I-94 West at County T, the right shoulder blocked there due to a car that's broken down.
Traffic is sponsored by Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Design Exchange is where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Mostly sunny today, a high of 76. There are some lingering clouds downtown. Hopefully those burn off before too long. Clear tonight and a low of 61. Sun returns on Friday with a high of 79. Warm up a little bit on Saturday. Mostly sunny and a high of 83. Chance of rain exists on Sunday. Warm and humid with a high of 87. It's 72 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
So yesterday, right before the show started, I did take a peek outside. I went to get something to drink at Walgreens.
He always goes to Walgreens every other day.
It's just so convenient. It's right down the hallway here in our 3rd Street Market studios. And I peeked outside. It looked like the sun was trying to fight. It was coming, right? The clouds, it looked like they were going to burn away. It's going to be a nice day. So all throughout the program yesterday, I'm saying, yeah, it's sunny. It's going to be a beautiful day. And we get notes on the text line saying, hey, look outside. It's been cloudy all morning. Like, well, what are you looking at? And
you want to tell them what you're looking at?
We do not have the benefit of looking through any windows that would lead you to outside. I can look in our producer's booth. I can look at the market hall and see that the Vietnamese restaurant is cutting up some buns and getting their pho ready. Like, that's what I see. But by one glimpse before the show, I thought, all right, sun's going to be out before too long. It's fighting. And no, it didn't fight hard enough.
Well, it did eventually come out in the evening, which was nice for the Milwaukee night market because it was the second one of the season, and it ended up being a pretty nice night out there.
So we enjoy tips from those on the text line. We've got a big listening area, too, so understand that. It could be sunny where you are and cloudy where some others are.
Very true.
That is not among the big stories we are covering today, but I promise you we are following some.
3 big things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, a major change for a major airline. Southwest Airlines, the most popular airline flown out of Mitchell International Airport in Milwaukee, is getting rid of that open seating.
I can have your attention, please. Southwest Airlines is taking
172 million flights were taken on Southwest Airlines last year, with each passenger assigned a place in the boarding line, but not assigned a specific seat on the plane. The carrier says its surveys show that 80% of customers prefer assigned seating and an option to purchase seats with extended legroom. Southwest has not said when those changes and a new boarding process will come, but promises more details in late September. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
The airline will also start offering overnight red-eye flights to cities like Vegas and Phoenix. You like a red-eye, Greg?
I understand why people do it. I've had to do it. It's certainly not my preference.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, if you have to and if you're flying overseas, okay.
Yeah.
I think the best way to go is to get the first flight of the day, just in case anything happens after that.
So that's interesting. I don't consider an overnight flight to Italy a red-eye, even though it's an overnight flight. A red-eye is domestic. I think Vegas back home or something like that. If I'm doing the overnight thing, I'd rather wake up in Europe.
Yeah. Yes, noted. Southwest, by the way, used to be the most profitable U.S. airline, but that's no longer the case. Delta now holds that crown. This morning, Southwest reported a 51% drop in adjusted profit.
Number 2, opening ceremonies have yet to take place for the Olympic Games, but already controversy. Have you seen this?
It is, for sure, a match that will go down in Olympic history. After a 2-hour wait, a goal that was disallowed, Morocco have come back and they've got the win.
Okay, so of course soccer is at the center of this controversy. So here's what happened. Argentina and Morocco are playing soccer last night. Argentina does not have Messi, one of the best players on the planet. He's not playing for Argentina, a noted soccer power. Morocco is pulling off the upset. They're up 2-0. The match is 68 minutes in, and then Argentina scores. Okay, so at the end of a soccer match, at the end of the second half, there's this ambiguous sort of injury stoppage time. And usually it's a few minutes tacked on to the 90 minutes that have already been played. Well, this injury time was going on for 16 minutes, which is insanely long in soccer at any level. So naturally, of course, Argentina scores a goal to tie the match at 2 in the final minutes of the extra time, which has been going on forever, right? 16 minutes is a long extra session. So the Moroccan fans did not like this. They started throwing firecrackers onto the pitch. They started running on the field, throwing bottles.
Why did they even have firecrackers?
Well, also a very good question here, Jessica. A very good question. There are many questions. So officials said off the pitch, everybody gone. So they cleared the players. They cleared the stands. So now you've got a 2-2 match, and there's still extra time to be played. So they cleared out the entire stadium. They had the players back for nearly 2 hours in their locker rooms. And at that point, the game was still tied at 2.
At that point, I'm taking my firecrackers home.
Well, an hour and a half, 2 hours is a long time to sit and look at video review. They ultimately determined that the Argentinian goal scored in extra time was actually not a goal because one of the players was offside. So now it's 2-1. And they bring everybody back out onto the field in front of an empty stadium and play the next 2.5 to 3 minutes of extra time, and Morocco ends up winning.
I've been in the game a long time, and over 25 years at the highest level, I've never, ever seen something this wild. This is incredible.
Yeah, it's former U.S. goalkeeper and my doppelganger, Tim Howard, who was on the broadcast.
Is that the guy who is in your ex picture?
Yes.
It's the two of you?
Yeah.
And it looks like it's your
We're
twin
not twin
brother?
brothers, right? No, it's just the guy I look like.
I actually asked him when I first started here, do you have a twin brother?
It's unbelievable. Of course, there's controversy with soccer. There always is.
Number 3, a new task force to investigate the Trump assassination attempt. The House voted to set up a bipartisan group to figure out what went wrong, ensure accountability, and prevent something like this from ever happening again. The move to create the task force came without opposition. Listen to this. The vote was 416-0. The group will investigate federal, state, and local law enforcement involved, and it must issue a final report on its findings no later than December 13th.
Yeah, but I'll dive more into that coming up on the other side with ABC's crime and terrorism expert Brad Garrett. More on the failure in the failed assassination attempt and the failures from the Secret Service. We'll do that after this.
Tony Drake here from Drake & Associates. Big news. Our retirement-ready radio show is moving to a new time slot. Catch us at noon every Saturday. At Drake & Associates, we craft tailor-made plans that not only meet your financial needs, but align seamlessly with your unique lifestyle. Tune in at noon on Saturdays and get retirement ready.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice.
WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. I want to tell you about my friends at the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls. We absolutely love going there. And it's because we know our dog, Knight, loves going there. It is the place for doggy grooming, doggy boarding, doggy daycare, whatever you're looking to do for or with your dog. You can do it at the Hounds and Tap. Every day is a play day. And if you want to hang out at the tavern, catch a game, watch whatever's on TV, you can do that too. Food trucks are arriving frequently. You can catch a Wisconsin brew or cocktail and enjoy your day at the Hounds and Tap. It really is a great place to hang out. Every day is a play day. Learn more about their services at thehoundsandtap.com. But really, boarding, grooming, daycare, that's the backbone. You're going to have a great time hanging out. Clean, safe, professionally trained workers are there to have your dog have a great play day. Check them out. Check their Facebook page out. See all the pictures of happy dogs online. It's the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Ridgetop Exteriors and CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
It's Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Rewards Member Appreciation Event. While we offer unbeatable deals every day, now through July 31st, we're showing extra appreciation to our rewards members with exclusive deals. Like 40-pound bags of Blaine's Black Oil Sunflower Seeds, $17.99. Rewards members save an extra $2. Select oil filters, 15% off for rewards members, and 15% reward savings on all Blazer trailer lighting. Plus, this Sunday from 6 to 9 p.m., rewards members save an extra 10% in store during Blaine's Farm and Fleet's private shop night.
Nice day today, a little on the cooler side with temperatures topping out about 76. Sun should be out in full force before too long today. Overnight low of 61 degrees. Beautiful on your Friday with a high of 78. And beautiful on your Saturday with a high of 83. 72 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:18. We mentioned this in the start of the program here, but the House voted on Wednesday to create a bipartisan task force to investigate the attempted assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And this was overwhelming. A resolution to establish the task force voted 416 to nothing. Everybody wants to know what happened, how it happened. Yes, we welcome in ABC's crime and terrorism expert, Brad Garrett. Brad, there are so many little videos and renderings and just animation to go about trying to figure out just how in the world a shooter got on top of a roof and was able to do what he did. How did we get to this point today where we're discussing this bipartisan task force and still with more questions than answers about the shooter and how he went about his business.
So you have to look at this as two separate investigations, in effect. And I think it was pretty telling this week with the Secret Service director really not answering much of anything. And then you had Chris Wray, the FBI director, the next day being, as much as he could, I thought pretty forthcoming about what the Bureau's been doing in reference to figuring out this 20-year-old. But if you go back to the Secret Service, I mean, were there failures that day? I think that's probably an understatement. But the question I have is, why was there failures? Was this a manpower issue? Was it a communications issue? I mean, you had people several minutes before this kid started shooting making all sorts of noise saying, there's a guy on the roof with a gun.
Right.
And law enforcement, I'm going to guess local law enforcement, because they typically handle the outer perimeters of these events. And, I want to make a note that the Secret Service could not function without city, county, and state law enforcement, which I guarantee you they did in your city recently. Right. And so an officer apparently, according to what's been reported, attempted to get up on the roof, and the shooter pointed his AR-15 at him, and obviously he got off the roof because I don't think the way he was hanging there's no way he'd get to a weapon. And, 2 minutes later, the kid starts shooting. So the question is the following. How long, assuming that's accurate, what I just said, how long was it when the officer spotted what he spotted that he could get his hands on a radio the Secret Service saying there's a kid on the roof with a gun, and then the Secret Service headquarters or command post at this event can tell the sniper that you got authority to shoot him? So all that can be done fairly quickly, but how fast did all of that happen? Now, you'll have to argue, obviously, is why did he get on the roof in the first place, right? That's another part of this.
It's huge.
Secret Service side of the investigation of, does he start with an hour before? Now we're at 5 o'clock on the 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, where they label him, they being law enforcement, that he's suspicious. Now, not a threat. That's a different definition, but suspicious. Now, you can well imagine a lot of weirdos and unusual people show up at these events, and probably like they did at the RNC, right? And you keep track of them, and you make sure that, it's not going anywhere. So I don't know what they did with it at that point. Did they follow him? Did they just sort of note that he was there? And maybe he walks off and it goes on from there. But then there's these reportings that we just talked about as you move closer to 6 o'clock, where, they see a guy with a gun, and apparently maybe even somebody saw him climb up on the roof. How long were they able to get to whatever communication they might have had, or was there a law enforcement officer even close they could yell to? So that may go to manpower, and it's going to be another issue in this investigation on the Secret Service side. But it's clearly a failing and a breach any way you look at it.
No,
kid shouldn't have been on the roof, and if he was on the roof, he should have gotten shot long before he did get shot.
No doubt it was a failure. I keep thinking about this kid, this shooter, and what he was looking at, because we don't know what his motive is yet. And I know he was looking up pictures of Biden and Trump. Is it possible that this guy was a new type of shooter, that he doesn't have a clear motive?
Oh, I think he has a clear motive. I think if you look at, you mentioned Trump, Biden, and then add to that in photos the FBI director and the Attorney General Garland, and, of course, a picture of Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales. Now, when I looked at that, it immediately struck me as, well, he wasn't interested at all in President Trump or what he represented. He wanted to kill somebody that was famous.
That's what I was thinking. Like, is it not just, I wanted to specifically go after former President Donald Trump?
No, I think it's all about fame. And fame is what drives actually every mass shooter. They become infamous, at least for a brief period of time, in a very dark way, of course. But they feel powerless. They feel whatever they feel. It's all going to be dark and negative, and the world's against them. And a number of variables I could throw out that fit most mass shooters, but they also fits a lot of other people. Probably the three of us know that are depressed, isolated, hate the world, but they never pick up a gun and go hurt anybody. So my guess is that's going to end up being the motive. It's all about fame, and obviously that former President Trump is a famous person. And so it hits all the buttons, and it was convenient. If President Biden had something that weekend in the proximity of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my guess is this kid would have been at that rally. So, it's just one of those circumstantial situations. But yeah, this investigation is going to take a while to untangle.
Well, and that House vote yesterday is certainly telling. 416-0, an overwhelming bipartisan task force will investigate the attempted assassination attempt. ABC's crime and terrorism expert Brad Garrett. We always appreciate your time and expertise, Brad. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
You're welcome. Take care.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
Hey, I want to tell you about my friends at Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. Greg Madzik here. I connected with Dan Krause of Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center a couple of months ago. Checked out his new office in Brookfield. It is up and running to go along with offices in Madison and in Oregon. So here's what they do. They help you secure your assets. They help you or your loved ones secure their assets, protecting what's been built and what has been earned over the years. Estate planning professionals, it's Krause Estate Planning. Check them out. Their new office is open, up and running in Brookfield. Connect with them if you have questions or are curious about how to get the ball rolling down the track. Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center can help you. Dan Krause, a retired Army veteran, got started in the business helping friends and loved ones and family members get their estates planned. Now he's doing the same for you. It's his job. It's his passion. He does it every day. It's Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. Visit estateplanningpeople.com.
Rose Gray here from Fox World Travel. The largest vacation sale in the nation is happening right now. It's the Fox World Travel exclusive July sale with Apple Vacations. Select from top resorts at favorite destinations in Mexico and the Caribbean, paired with nonstop flights to get you there fast. Let Fox World Travel book your best price guarantee vacation and secure your reservation with just a deposit. You can also book your trip online. Visit foxworldtravel.com/July or call 866-GO-FOX-GO today.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ Steve Scafidi. Yet another strong storm rolled through Oak Creek and South Milwaukee, causing actual damage at my house. Thankfully, I knew exactly what to do. I called my friends Jeff and Jake at Loyal Family Renovations, and Jeff came by to assess the damage. If your home has suffered storm damage, don't leave it up to the out-of-towners. Loyal Family is family-owned, and the loyalty belongs to their customers. Contact them today for a free damage inspection, and they'll help make your home remodeling dreams a reality. LoyalFamilyRenovations.com.
When you have a stuffy nose, life can be a bit unpleasant. Some live every day with a stuffy nose, and that can make life downright miserable. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we are committed to eliminating your nasal breathing problems with simple in-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty, which requires no surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in less than 30 minutes. At Advent, we understand your inability to breathe freely limits your quality of life. And that's why we continue to pioneer the most advanced in-office procedures that have made our practice a global destination for those seeking to live their highest quality of life. Visit AdventKnows.com to see if you're a candidate for the balloon sinuplasty procedure. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Every great Midwest bank branch has document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Michael Quizon is IT Systems Administrator. Michael, the bank has a slogan.
We are called Simply Local. We're a Simply Local bank.
And your business technology company, James Imaging Systems, has been a 100% locally owned and managed company right here in Wisconsin for over 40 years.
They're more like a partner to us.
In what way?
We call on them at any point, they're there. We ask them any questions that we have, they were there.
James Imaging Systems, document imaging technology, and local service and support.
We can get our printers up and running right away if we have any issues. We can do our business without any downtime at all.
The benefit to Great Midwest Bank?
Efficient operations, time savings on my end. There's no other partner that we can bring on.
Start your partnership with James Imaging Systems today. Call 262-781-7700. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
It's 11:30. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, July 25th. Your top story, global visitors descending on Milwaukee.
I'm Jessica Ty. Could Wisconsin get its first national park?
Some clouds downtown right now. Should be mostly sunny eventually with a high of 76. Nice and clear tonight with a low of 61. Sun returns on Friday with a high of 79. Look for some high puffy clouds on Saturday and a high of 83. Next chance of rain comes on Sunday. It's going to be warm, going to be muggy, a little bit humid with a high of 87. It's currently 72 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A key meeting today between President Biden and Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu on the heels of the Prime Minister's speech to a joint meeting of Congress yesterday that sparked more protests and calls for a ceasefire in Gaza. ABC's Karen Travers has more on the agenda.
They'll discuss the latest efforts to reach a ceasefire in Gaza and secure the release of the remaining hostages held by Hamas. A senior administration official told reporters they believe a deal is, quote, closable and in the closing stages. This official said the issues that remain are resolvable, including the implementation and exchange of Palestinian prisoners for hostages.
Vice President Kamala Harris and presumptive Democratic nominee will meet with Netanyahu separately this afternoon. She delivered remarks in Houston earlier at the American Federation of Teachers conference. Mortgage rates edging up again. The average for a 30-year mortgage now at 6.78% from 6.77% the week before. And jobless claims dipping last week compared to the week before. This is ABC News.
Siding Unlimited WTMJ News time is 11:31. Harley-Davidson Homecoming is officially underway with events running throughout the weekend. The second straight week, Milwaukee welcomes visitors from around the world.
The city, because it's very, very beautiful. The lake, Michigan, everything is very, I like it.
Chiara and her husband are Harley riders from Italy. They began their visit at the Harley Museum. It's their first visit to Milwaukee and the first time they'll see where their motorcycles came from.
4 people are in custody in connection to the death of a Madison teenager.
15-year-old Kaisha Miller was shot and killed outside the Harmony Apartments on the east side of Madison in October 2023. Now, Madison police announcing the arrest of 4 people in connection to that shooting, which also left 3 other teens wounded. Javian White, Reginald Sexton, Wilson Clark, and Donovan Douglas are all facing charges of intentional homicide, attempted homicide, and recklessly endangering safety. All 4 are in their early 20s and are from the Madison area. Madison police say they're working on determining a motive for the shooting, and additional arrests are possible. Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
New legislation in Washington could pave the way forward for Wisconsin's first national park.
The Apostle Islands were first considered for national park status by Congress in 1930. Now, 84 years later, Wisconsin Congressman Tom Tiffany is renewing the effort to convert the islands from national lakeshore to national park.
We can ensure that thousands more are able to visit this area.
Tiffany says the move would also help bolster the region's economy, which is hurting from a lack of snow this past winter.
This will be a win for the people in my state and the country at large as more folks get to enjoy the crown jewels of Wisconsin.
Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
And Congressman Tiffany will join Wisconsin's Afternoon News today to discuss that bill.
The state of Wisconsin will be represented at the Summer Olympics in France.
Yeah, everybody is pretty excited here.
The opening ceremonies in Paris are tomorrow night, and Russell and Megan Craze of Mequon will be there as the athletes are being brought in via boat.
We'll probably find a spot along the Seine River as we watch all the different countries come by with their athletes on their floats.
Russell tells Wisconsin's Morning News they hope to see rugby, tennis, maybe even some handball. And yes, he and his wife are showing off their American pride.
She has implemented a strict red, white, and blue dress code for the entire time.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
The Olympic events are already underway with opening ceremonies scheduled for Friday. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
Some of our customers want a glass shower door for the look. Some want it for a better use of their space, while others need a new glass shower door just to be safe. Like a customer we had last month. Her daughter had been hounding her to turn that old bathtub of hers into a walk-in shower. She was afraid her mother might slip when there was no one around to help her. Stepping over that bathtub wall isn't exactly safe. And besides, those old bathtub floors can be kind of slippery too. Installing a new glass shower door is pretty affordable. And not only is it safer, but it also gives your bathroom a great new look. And when you stop in our showroom, you'll see just how many options we have to give you the look you want. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. And glass and mirrors have been our business for over 35 years. So if it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Welcome to Staples, young man.
Tomorrow's my big day.
Big day?
First grade.
Aw, well, Staples has crayons, markers, glue.
I need a laptop.
Oh, yeah, sure. With Staples Hot Deals, you can save up to $300 on select PCs for school.
Wait. The finances are Mom's department.
Right.
I'm looking for performance, like a Core i7 processor.
Boy, first grade has really changed.
Tell me about it.
Save big on tech for school with super low Staples Hot Deals. Right now, get up to $300 off select PCs at Staples. Ends 8/24.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. No game for the Brewers today, but they are back home to begin a 6-game homestand Friday night against the Marlins after a 4-1 road trip to Minnesota and Chicago. Meanwhile, the Packers will put on the pads for the first time on Saturday, and the NBA signs an 11-year media rights deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon Prime Video beginning with the 2025-26 season.
Put on the pants or put on the pads?
Pads. Did I say pants?
I couldn't tell.
I might have said pants. I meant pads.
Sure. No, it was like in between.
Well, they've been in helmets and shorts, so the first time pants go on could be Saturday as well.
Yeah, that would be fair, too. I'll give you that. I love it. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic. We do have a crash that is still out there. I want to give you an update on 4145 at 124th Street is a camera I'm looking at right here. The actual crash is 145 south at Bradley Road. This is not too far from Drutska Park in the Granville area. I just watched an ambulance kind of get out of the way there. Not sure that they actually have anybody inside of that ambulance, but there are still emergency responders out there kind of blocking the corner. I see a tow truck out there now as well, so hopefully in the next 20 minutes or so, this one will be cleaned up. But once again, this is 145 south at Bradley Road. There is a crash on the corner, so the right shoulder is blocked.
Nice day today, a little on the cooler side. It's about 72 degrees right now, up to 76. Sun should be out in full force before too long in most of our listening area. Clear tonight and a low of 61. Back into the upper 70s with mostly sunny conditions on Friday. 83 and sun on Saturday. It is 72 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:38. All right, so Southwest Airlines and their seating plan, it's very polarizing, Jessica. So
yes, you love it or you hate it. So
right.
True.
So today, and this really goes back to April when Southwest started to analyze the boarding process and try and figure out how they could make people happier. It's the dominant airline out of Milwaukee, no doubt. It's Southwest number 1, Delta number 2, and there's a pretty wide gap between number 1 and number 2. But the boarding process is very much polarizing. Now, for me, I typically take Southwest as a solo flyer. And if I do, no big deal. I'll board in C52. Whatever, doesn't matter.
You don't care where you sit?
Well, I know, because I know that I'll likely be able to find a single seat in the front third of the plane. I'm not worried about that. And typically when we've taken Southwest as a family, we've been able to fit in under the family boarding world. So that gets you, I think, boarding between groups A and B. So in that light, it's not been a challenge to find a group of 4 seats together. But I understand the anxiety. If you're 2 or more adults traveling, you got to play the game. And then you wonder if your bag's going to fit. Will there be enough baggage space? Do I have to gate check this? Can I gate check this? Right? I understand the process of developing anxiety because of Southwest's system.
Anxiety. You know where I have an anxiety if I fly Southwest? And it's not often. It's usually if I'm trying to get down to Florida on a direct flight. It's where my anxiety comes in with when you're looking at everybody, you're making eye contact, like, can I sit there? Can I mean, bottom line is if there's an open seat, you can sit there. But you know how that goes where it's like some people don't want to look at you because they don't want you to sit there. They want to keep that middle seat open or there are all these games that are played, I feel. And that's where I'm just like, oh, man. I love when somebody will be like, this seat's open. Or I've actually had a flight attendant say that too. Man, the seat right here. And they'll point it out. I'm like, oh, fantastic. Thanks so much. But just that whole like, trying to figure out, looking ahead, looking down the aisle. Is that seat open? Is that one open? That's where any anxiety I have comes in.
So here's the deal. Southwest is going to get rid of this process. They're going to go to assigned seating at some point. This is not happening today. It's not happening tomorrow. No clear date
they haven't
on
given
when
a date
it's
yet.
going to happen, but it is coming along with some overnight flight options and so on. Does this please you as someone who flies in and out of Milwaukee frequently? If you are that person listening right now, hit us up on the text line here, 855-616-1620. Is this a sigh of relief, or do you like the freedom to sort of pick your own seat with the understanding that the most desirable seats are certainly likely to be taken by the time you board the plane?
I thought that you might really like to pick your spot just because you're tall. And I know a lot of tall people, long legs, sometimes they like to be out in the aisle just so that they have a little bit more room and they're not crunched by the window. So I was thinking even if you're flying solo, if you're not with a fam, that you might be trying to grab one of those aisle spots.
Aisle is a preference. I'm not opposed to middle if it's in the front third of the plane where I think there's typically a little more leg room. So I'll sacrifice sticking my leg out. Oh, I'm tall, but I'm narrow enough where it's not too complicated. My wonder is this, from the anxiety perspective. Right? Crank on your anxiety meter. Do you have more anxiety boarding the plane not knowing where you're going to sit or if you'll have room for your bag? Do you have more anxiety if you're sitting in a seat trying to look like you don't want somebody to sit next to you, but knowing that seat is open and somebody can certainly take it? Or, 3, is there anxiety in trying to save the seat for somebody else who will be boarding the plane at a later time? Like what is the worst position to be in out of those 3, because they can all sort of drum up that uncomfortable feeling in your stomach.
See, and that's why I just say, boom, assigned seat, you know you're A this, you know you're B that. I think that's why they're doing this. And here's the thing, there's actually data behind this. I was checking this out this morning. The number one reason people switch from Southwest Airlines to a different airline is because of the open seating. So right there, the company knows this is the number one reason that people are like, meh, I don't want to take Southwest anymore. So they're making a smart company decision. 80% of Southwest customers prefer an assigned seat. 86% of potential customers prefer an assigned seat.
So you might be willing to forego that move if it's a cheaper price, right? Remember how Southwest started. It was a discount airline at sort of, for lack of a better term, off-brand airports. It wasn't at O'Hare, but it was at Midway. And it would go to other off-brand airports, not as frequented by some of the other major carriers, and it was discount. But Southwest has expanded its footprint.
And now you have Spirit and Frontier that are like extra discount.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are your discount carriers. Southwest is no longer a discount carrier, not in my opinion at all.
Same.
So if you're going to elevate the cost and the options and all that kind of stuff to play with the big boys in that same space, then you have to have some sort of differentiating feature. And it looks like they're trying to steer away from one of their differentiating features that I think is probably the most polarizing feature in the world of commercial airlines.
I mean, those numbers I just told you speak for themselves. I mean, that's not even like 60%, 80 and 86% of people. So that's a big deal. The other change here, too, we mentioned the red eyes, but also they're going to have premium seats coming up, which will offer more legroom. Won't be available until 2025. We know that. And because basically you can't just all of a sudden say, oh, we're going to do this. I mean, they have to reconfigure the planes to give you that extra legroom. But that is coming. Some premium seats with more legroom. And that's where that will help the company because people will be paying more to be in those seats.
Yeah, got some mixed results coming in on the text line. Keep them coming here, 855-616-1620. Is this a pleasing development for you that Southwest, the most popular airline flown out of Mitchell International, is getting rid of open seating? No concrete date on when that's going to happen, but it is coming. It's 11:44 on WTMJ, our weekly wellness check with Dr. Ben Weston. He joins us after this.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Standing up for people and families seriously injured in accidents and taking the burden off your shoulders to let you focus on the healing. Talking about Gruber Law Offices here. WTMJ's Greg Matzik. Visit gruber-law.com. Learn more about the firm and how they contribute and give back to the community. They've been doing it for 40 years in Milwaukee, and the results speak for themselves. If you've been seriously hurt in an accident, you make the call to David Gruber and his team at 414-276-6666. It's a family-owned and operated firm, large and powerful enough, however. They've got the resources to take on insurance companies and allowing you to focus on healing while they handle the legal aspect. It's gruber-law.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Gorgeous new roofs, showstopper siding, or classic brick and stonework. How about modern windows and regal doors that'll make your chin hit the floor? To a lot of people, having these things can really make them enjoy where they live. It makes them proud. But there's always one thing standing in the way. How do I make that happen? At Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, we have excellent financing options for most people in most situations. 12 months, no interest, no payments, and exceptional rates for long-term loans that will beat your bank with no additional fees or hidden costs. You can go to SemperFiRoofing.com to apply for your pre-approval today. We want to make any project affordable to almost any person, and we've gone out of our way to find partners that can help make it happen for you. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Ask about our finance options.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Nice stretch of weather beginning today with highs in the mid-70s. Mostly sunny conditions. Eventually, some clouds still working their way out and over the lake. Beautiful day on Friday with a high of 79. Sunny and warm on Saturday with a high of 83. 72 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:48.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Time for our weekly wellness check with Dr. Ben Weston, Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County and Associate Professor of Emergency Medicine at the Medical College of Wisconsin. All right, nobody likes anxiety, Dr. Weston. What gives you more anxiety? Being a Southwest Airlines passenger who has to pick his seat or protect the seat next to you for somebody else who's going to be boarding the plane later?
I kind of like the Southwest pick your own seat thing. I'm kind of sad they're getting rid of it.
Oh, really? Okay.
It adds a little sense of adventure to your flight. You know?
Oh, yeah, that's what you need.
That is certainly something we all need. Hey, there's nothing adventurous about listeria. There's a natural segue for you. No laughing matter here, though. There is a listeria outbreak. What do we know about this? What does it mean for folks living in Wisconsin, and what exactly is it?
Yeah, so listeria is a bacteria that can contaminate our food. It can cause severe illness in some folks, especially when it gets outside of the gut and starts getting to other parts of the body. And it's pretty common. So simple food poisoning type illness is very common, but severe listeriosis is the term for it, is pretty common as well. So it's 1,600 people that get severely ill every year, and about 260 actually die from this. So it's estimated to be the third leading cause of death from foodborne illness in the U.S.
Okay, so you've got George right now listening who just had some deli meat, and he's like, oh, no, I'm not feeling so best. What are the symptoms?
Well, George, you're going to want to watch for a few different things. So there's two main pathways that this can go down. The much more common is your sort of food poisoning kind of thing. You eat it, it irritates your gut, it's fast onset, we're talking within 24 hours, and it causes symptoms that everybody tunes into the radio to hear about, which is diarrhea and vomiting.
Of course.
Now, for most people, that's where it ends. But for some people, it can actually migrate outside of your gut, outside of your digestive system, and cause much more severe symptoms. And that's what we really worry about. So we're talking about fever, flu-like symptoms, confusion, seizures. But these take a little longer, up to even a couple weeks to take effect. And we worry about different populations, older folks, weakened immune system people, but especially pregnant women. Most pregnant women have probably heard about listeria at some point or another, and for good reason. It can cause miscarriage, premature delivery, and infection of the newborn, so all kinds of bad stuff.
Are there some simple tips to avoid it, Dr. Weston?
Yeah, I mean, really, if you fall into one of those high-risk groups, you want to think a lot more about this. So if you are 65 or older, if you do have a weak immune system, and particularly if you are pregnant. And so if you fall into one of those groups, especially now, it's best to not eat deli meats that are sliced at the deli counter, as this is where the outbreaks tend to occur. And it can spread onto other things. So clean out your fridge, clean out containers that have had sliced deli meats, and certainly call your healthcare provider if you fit into one of those groups and have the sort of symptoms that we talked about.
The FDA is once again pushing back a proposal to ban cancer-linked formaldehyde in hair relaxers. Why are hair products with formaldehyde dangerous?
Yeah, so some of these hair smoothing or straightening products, they're often called relaxers, and they're usually marketed to African-American women. They can contain or even release formaldehyde. And there's all sorts of studies out there that have shown that formaldehyde is bad. In postmenopausal women that use these hair relaxers frequently, more than twice a year or consistently for 5 years, they have a substantially increased risk of uterine cancer. It's also been it's also been linked to fibroids, early onset puberty, obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, all sorts of bad stuff from these formaldehyde-containing products.
Well, and at one point, lead was a thing in paint, and then people got wise to it. How has this existed for so long? Why is formaldehyde still an option?
Yeah, I mean, it's just ubiquitous in these sort of products. And so in the end, what should people do? Basically, stop using these products. There's all sorts of evidence they cause harm. So you want to read the ingredients on the hair products you purchase, and don't use it if it has formaldehyde or related sort of ingredients. And then remember, a lot of people do this at salons. So ask your salon professional about the products they use. Take a look at the ingredients there as well, and keep an eye out for any sort of concerning symptoms, of course, as always.
Okay, Dr. Weston, we're looking at the calendar here. It's been 34 years since the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed. I know the county has a special celebration planned. What's on tap?
Yeah, so this is an important law 34 years ago, and it's to make sure that folks with disabilities have the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. So basically, it guarantees equal opportunity for folks with disabilities in public accommodations, employment, transportation, government services, telecommunications, all sorts of different things. And so the county is going to celebrate this landmark legislation. Milwaukee County's Aging and Disability Services is hosting a community resource fair. It's tomorrow, Friday, July 26th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Gordon Park over on the corner of Locust and Humboldt. So come and join in.
Dr. Ben Weston joining us here from the Medical College of Wisconsin. So cold plunging is all the rage here, Dr. Weston. You go to Amazon and you can buy your own little cold plunge tub for anywhere from $80 to a couple of $100. You want to soak yourself in an ice bath after a run or something like that, you can do it. I don't know why you have to do that. You could just use your bathtub at home. But nonetheless, the benefits of cold plunging or cold showers, are these overstated in any way?
Yeah, so you said a couple $100. You can spend many thousands of dollars on these as well if for people who really get into it. It certainly is a trend. There's lots of different names for it, cold plunges, cold water therapy, cryotherapy. The basic idea is you get in cold water, 50 degrees, sometimes even colder, as low as 30 seconds up to a few minutes. Now, there's lots of claims out there about the benefits. Some have more evidence than others. What's probably best studied is muscle healing. So after a strenuous workout, indeed, it seems that it decreases muscle injury, inflammation, it speeds up healing. There's also pretty good evidence that it improves your mood, at least for a short period of time. It'll make your mood a little bit better. Now, there's other things, immune benefits, cardiovascular benefits. It's a little unclear. There's smaller studies that suggest it, but certainly a little more research is needed.
Well, now, does the mood improve after the frostbite subsides and you're done crying because it hurts so much?
Jeez.
That's right. After the hyperventilating stops and the pain ends, I think you have a little perk of happiness. Maybe it's just getting out of that cold water.
I just want a hot tub. Just give me, give me a hot bath. I don't want the cold, but I get that some people like it, and a lot of athletes swear by this these days.
It seems to be a thing to do. And look, as always, talk to your healthcare provider. But if you are in good health and you enjoy it, I don't think there's too much downside.
And Dr. Ben Weston, Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County and Associate Professor of Emergency Medicine at the Medical College of Wisconsin.
Do your fingers, if you're in a cold plunge, if you stay in there for a long time, do they get a little shrivel like they would in a bath?
I would not stay in long enough to even get close to knowing the answer to
that. Good point.
All right, Dr. Ben Weston, we appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks. Take care.
Yep, you do the same. So that was a thing in college. So I ran track and field in college, and after practice, you'd have people just like hopping into the cold tub. So I did it once. Like, are you freaking nuts? Like, what are we doing in here? It's like, let me just rub a little Dixie cup of ice on my shins if that's the biggest deal. I'll happily do that and sit out in the open.
And now you have people buying them at Costco to put in their backyard.
It's just crazy, you people. It's 11:56 on WTMJ. Maybe I just need to toughen up.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 1. At Creative Planning, we custom tailor your portfolio to help you achieve your ideal financial future. You'll see how our wealth managers work with in-house CPAs and attorneys to ensure your money is working as hard as it can for you. Why not give your wealth a second look? Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
Since 1955, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in the state of Wisconsin. WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. Do not let a busted garage door get you down. You make a call to Geis. They'll get you back in the game. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they've got doors for every budget. They even have a beautiful custom design area that'll help meet your exact needs. If you want to go the wood door route on a different size than what's usual, they can do it. Geis has the knowledge and the materials and the products ready for you. Visit geisdoors.com. You can also stop by their showroom in Brookfield, like I did, right off Barker Road. You'll see hundreds of doors and openers in stock and that custom design center all right there. In-house. Don't think twice. Call Geis and visit geisdoors.com.
Are you ready to start a meaningful career in healthcare? Are you looking for a job that fits your work-life balance? Become a certified direct care professional today and make life better for older adults or people with a disability. WIS Caregiver Careers makes it easy with free online training plus earn a $500 bonus. See your name on Wisconsin's Certified Direct Care Registry. Sign up today at wiscaregivercdcp.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 12:01, I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, July 25th. Your top story, coming home to Harley.
I'm Jessica Ty. Beware at the beach.
Some early clouds today, though, should burn off before too long. A high of 76 under mostly sunny skies. Clear tonight, a low of 61. Sunny for your Friday and a high of 79 degrees. It's 72 in Milwaukee. At 12:01 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom, as tens of thousands of Harley-Davidson motorcycles rumble their way into Milwaukee for the now annual Harley Homecoming, it's a good time to brush up on some road safety. Attorney Jason Abraham tells TMJ4 News he's represented thousands of bikers over the years and knows the importance of keeping an extra eye out for those on two wheels.
People are just so selfish and self-centered, and they care about doing whatever they want to do in the moment, and they have to realize that people are on two wheels, and it's easy to miss them in your mirrors.
The homecoming officially kicks off this afternoon at Davidson Park.
Riders are coming in from all over the globe for the Harley-Davidson Homecoming Festival. Heads up, your commute may be impacted.
It'll be quite the celebration, this Harley Homecoming, and some roads will be closed for the weekend, so you'll want to be ready to make your way around these closures. For example, Brady Street will close from North Farwell to North Cass for the Brady Street Biker Bash Friday and Saturday. South California from KK Avenue to South Colorado for an event at Patty's Power Plant Bar, and a good chunk of Water Street will be closed right in front of City Hall for a motorcycle show. Keep in mind there'll be plenty of parking restrictions around the city too, so mind the signs. Debbie Lazaga, WTMJ News.
A top Milwaukee government aide could avoid criminal charges under a plea deal reached on Wednesday.
Former Deputy City Attorney Odalo Ohiku had pled guilty to misconduct in public office after he failed to disclose ownership of the Ohiku law firm while representing the city under then City Attorney Tierman Spencer. But a judge will now move for prosecutors to dismiss the case if Ohiku completes a four-step process. Ohiku resigned from his post earlier this year once the allegations surfaced. He was facing a $10,000 fine and 9 months in jail if convicted. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Long-term planning for Milwaukee Public School buildings. MPS launched a new website today focused on how the district will develop, improve, and maintain the district's buildings over the next 10 years. Milwaukee community members are encouraged to visit the site for updates and to provide feedback on the planning. You can find more details on our website, WTMJ.com.
And 2 Milwaukee beaches are closed due to elevated levels of bacteria. Both Bradford and South Shore beaches are listed as closed by the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. No word on when either beach could reopen. The DNR also notes that McKinley Beach has elevated bacteria levels, but that beach does remain operational. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. All the indices looking to rebound today following a disastrous day on Wednesday. The Dow currently up about 487 points at 40,340. The Nasdaq up 158 points at 17,500. And the S&P 500 is up about 51 points at 5478. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:04.
This report is sponsored by Diamonds Direct. Your love, their passion.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts this weekend. For 3 days only, this Friday through Sunday, get 20% off rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. 20% off starts Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com. 3 days only and Sunday.
Unlock big savings with Schlag Locks from Menards. Whether you're looking for a traditional interior lock or a Wi-Fi compatible electronic lock, Menards has you covered with more than 200 options of Schlag Locks available. Save big on Schlag Locks at Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction, according to J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Fredert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin. So there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit fredert.com/cancer.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. No game for the Brewers today. They are back home, however, to begin a 6-game homestand Friday night against the Marlins. Packers will put the pads on for the first time Saturday. And the NBA signs an 11-year media rights deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon Prime Video. Following the upcoming season, games will no longer appear on TNT.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. I-43 north at Keefe Avenue and Atkinson Avenue. There is a disabled vehicle, and I want to let you know about this one because it's just in a bad spot. It's at a spot where people are curving to the right to get off the highway. There's a construction area there. You've got all the barrels. So once again, this is I-43 north at Keefe. And as I'm looking at the video, too, I see 4 people out of the car, which just makes me incredibly nervous. That's so dangerous to do. I know it's kind of scary to stay in the car sometimes, but they say that's always the best bet. But we've got 4 people outside of the car right there. You've got a disabled vehicle. No emergency responders are on the scene yet. So I imagine that will be happening hopefully soon here, and we can get that car out of the way. But once again, this is just kind of a crummy spot to be. I-43 north at Keefe Avenue, Atkinson Avenue. There's a disabled vehicle, a bunch of people outside, and traffic is kind of crawling along to get past it. Oh, and happening right now, the emergency responder just arrived on the scene. So hopefully we can get this cleared up quickly.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
Buy one dinner, get one free tonight at the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club, including steak and lobster. And desserts are buy one, get one free. Tables are open, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Comfortable day today with a high of 76 degrees. Mostly sunny skies. There are some lingering clouds in the area, however. Overnight low of 61. 79 and sunny on Friday. 83 and sunny on Saturday. Next chance of rain appears on Sunday. Muggy with a high of 87 degrees. It's 72 in Milwaukee at 12:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Beautiful stretch of weather as we continue here on the Thursday edition of Wisconsin's Midday News. A reminder, beginning Thursday of next week, we will be broadcasting from the Wisconsin State Fair. So we got the countdown clock on. If you want to check out Jessica and I and our program and a lot of our other shows, including Spanning the State, Wisconsin's Afternoon News, you can do so at the Wisconsin State Fair. We begin our broadcasts 1 week from today.
Watch me eat some hot Wisconsin cheese.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of food in that studio.
That's my favorite, though. I look forward to the State Fair, not because of the cream puffs. I know a lot of you want the cream puffs. But I'm looking forward to the hot Wisconsin cheese. It's not cheese curds, not the same. It's different, and it's fantastic.
Well, we just got emailed to us the Sporky and Drinky nominees, so that's all the new good
Always
stuff.
fun.
And there's a big vote on it, and then there's like the food item of the year, and now the drink of the year. We'll run through that. We'll make sure to run through that, and we'll have a little bingo card maybe to see if we can sample all of that stuff.
Love it.
We look forward to the fair. 1 week from today, we will be there. 12:10 on WTMJ. Some big stories that we are following here in the noon hour.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
The contrast on the campaign trail. Note how different the stops are today for Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Harris delivers the keynote speech today at the National Convention for the American Federation of Teachers. Trump is delivering the keynote address today at a Bitcoin conference in Nashville, Tennessee. Meanwhile, Milwaukee still being talked about and seen, even though the presidential candidates are not here today.
Milwaukee was great. They did a great job. The stadium is new. They built it for the basketball team, which is excellent. You know the Greek, right? The Greek. He's a good player, but they built it for the team, and it was like new. And it was one of the most, I think it was the greatest, I really believe it. It couldn't have been better. It was the greatest convention that anyone's seen thus far, Republican or Democrat.
Organizers love hearing that. Milwaukee loves hearing that, too. The Greek freak, though,
Yeah,
Trump.
I think
the Greek freak.
Yeah. It was close. He got the country right.
Yeah, that was Trump talking at a rally in North Carolina on Wednesday. The Milwaukee area is also showing up in Harris's first campaign video. It features clips from her first campaign rally in West Allis on Tuesday. If you look closely, you can tell that, it was from here in West Allis. You can see signs of the Bulldogs.
There is a long history of politicians just not quite getting it right when it comes to athletes, names. Remember this back from like the late 90s? Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were going back and forth, challenging Roger Maris's season home run record of 61. They rejuvenated baseball, and Senator Ted Kennedy said this.
It is a special pleasure for me to introduce our two home run kings for working families in America, Mike McGwire and Sammy Sosa of the White House. It's a pleasure to introduce them.
Mike McGwire? No, it's Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Remember John Kerry called Lambeau Field Lambert Field at an event in Green Bay? Some people believe it's what cost him the election.
Oh, no way. The
Maybe
Ted
not going
Kennedy
that far.
one, though, he didn't... Two names, and he got them both wrong.
Yeah, not even close, right? Not even close. Lambert Field was a bad mistake from John Kerry. I do remember that. That was rough. And beginning to learn more details on a finalized plea deal agreed to by Boeing and the Department of Justice over a pair of deadly crashes involving 737 MAX 8 planes. So Boeing is agreeing to plead guilty to conspiracy to defraud the United States and pay a fine of $243 million. The deal now rests in the hands of a federal judge who is facing calls to reject it.
So on top of paying this fine, Boeing would also invest $455 million in compliance and safety programs. An independent monitor would be appointed to oversee some of the company's manufacturing, and the board of directors would be meeting with the families of the crash victims. And many of those families have already said they are really unhappy with this plea deal. They say Boeing avoids a trial, it gets a much smaller fine than what they wanted, and they argue that Boeing still hasn't been been held accountable for the deaths of those 346 people.
That is ABC's Trevor Alt.
The Harley-Davidson Homecoming Festival is now underway. It's a 4-day celebration of music, motorcycle culture, and the company's hometown, Milwaukee.
Yeah, those are the Nat sounds. That's what it sounds like right now on the roads. Like that?
I was waiting for a vroom, vroom. It does sound like that, though. You're right, Greg. Opening ceremony started at 4:30 today, but just like the Olympics, there are events before the official kickoff. There are activities today at the Harley Museum, Harley headquarters, and the powertrain operations site. The big concerts, though, those are coming up Friday and Saturday at Veterans Park along the lake.
I'm a lost cause. Baby, don't waste your time on me. I'm so damaged beyond repair. Life has shattered my hopes and my dreams.
Jelly Roll is the headliner tomorrow night, and Saturday, it's the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I think they had Foo Fighters and Green Day for the 120th, if I remember right. So they're blowing this thing out. This is a pretty solid lineup tonight.
The really cool thing, too, because, usually they sell out. So if you don't have tickets, you can go down over in Veterans Park. Some people are actually out on their boats, and you can listen to the concert.
Oh, yeah, that's the way to do it.
It's just a cool experience.
Yeah, so Red Hot Chili Peppers on Saturday. Do not confuse them with Summerfest staple, the Red Hot Chili Pipers. Very different bands. 12:15 on WTMJ. Greater Milwaukee Committee President Joel Brennan joins us in studio after this.
By the way, I tried to say I'd be there, waiting for.
It's a bird, it's a plane. No, for real, it's a plane. Wisconsin's Afternoon News is live at EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh. John Mercure here.
And Julia Fellow here. We hit the road Friday, July 26th to join aviation enthusiasts from around the world to experience the air shows, workshops, and all that the event has to offer.
Tune in from 3 to 6 p.m. on July 26th for Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
Live at EAA Oshkosh on News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Well, your home's defense is crucial, right? You want to keep the elements on the outside. And those elements do affect your home before too long, right? That winter weather, you know what it does. All of a sudden you look around in spring, you've got condensation on the inside of your home. That's no good. That's when you make a call to Siding Unlimited. Truly siding and a whole lot more. My friends at Siding Unlimited have done a number of projects on the Matzik homes over the years. They'll do the same for you. Just take some pictures and ideas out to their showroom in Brookfield. Visit sidingunlimited.com. Just connect with Siding Unlimited, the best in the business when it comes to installation of high-quality products. Pella Windows, they've got the best in siding with LP Smart Side. They installed that on the home we built about 8 years ago. Windows, doors, roofing, siding, decking materials, patios, pavers, you name it. It truly is a one-stop shop. Beautify your home with Siding Unlimited. Visit sidingunlimited.com.
Attention Milwaukee business owners, Graphic House Inc. has been proudly serving Milwaukee and the surrounding areas with top-notch signage solutions for over 50 years. We're here to stay and support your branding needs. From your sign design and fabrication to installation and maintenance, we do it all. Visit our website, GraphicHouseInc.com, for a free consultation. Graphic House Inc., Milwaukee's trusted partner in signage excellence.
Greg and Jessica, happy to be joined in studio by Greater Milwaukee Committee President Joel Brennan. Joins us every Thursday here on Wisconsin's Midday News. Hello, Joel.
Hey, nice to see you guys.
You're always up to something interesting, right? You're always somewhere doing something. What's the latest in the Brennan world? Where were you yesterday?
Yesterday, it felt like the old days because I drove to Madison and I went to the Hilton Monona Terrace, which was right next door to the office building where I worked for 3 years in state government. And this was a gathering, a bipartisan gathering of people, community leaders from around the state. And what we did is we listened to the election commissioner from the city of Milwaukee. We listened to an election official from Rock County and a person from the state election board. And really it was a bipartisan group, and people, some of whom have questions about the electoral process. What do they do? The idea of votes being rigged and all that. And people had the chance to ask questions and to actually find out how deeply involved and engaged communities are in these efforts, and generally how safe and sound our electoral process is. And the idea is that when you get more of these people around the state to go back to their communities and talk about it, you start to stifle some of those who are still questioning what happens. If there are things that are legitimate questions about our election process, we ought to fix them. And there's some efforts to do that. But by and large, we run really solid elections in Wisconsin. These were national experts there, people who were on opposite sides of the Bush-Gore election, the hanging Chad in 2000 that were part of the conversation. But this is part of how we make sure that the democracy that we have is protected and that people, when they go to the ballot box in November, are certain that what they're doing is right, it's protected, it's legal, and it's the right thing to do. And so this is just a group that is going to keep talking about this over the next several months and make sure that when everybody goes, they can go confidently and they can trust the process. It's a shame that we have to be there, but that's kind of where we are as a nation.
So you got to chat with them. What did you learn? Was there anything that you didn't know or that you think, you know what, people should really know this?
Well, I'd like to think that I'm a pretty informed voter and have been involved. I've volunteered and worked at the polls over the years. But like, what happens when someone challenges a vote, or challenges a ballot? Like the process that goes through and the various levels of ensuring that everything is on the up and up. Like that is something everybody should know about. There were 35 of us in the room when we talked about this for a couple of hours. I don't know that we can get every citizen in the state to sit there for 3 hours and listen to this, but everybody ought to get a little snippet because to my way of thinking, the people who do this at the local level, they're heroes, they're patriots. They're doing what's right for the nation, the way we were built, and we ought to have respect for it. Unfortunately, what's happened is they've gotten their names thrown out there, they've been threatened, the things that never should happen have happened. And this is part of, I think, the community and people from all over the ideological spectrum standing up and saying, hey, what they do is right, what they do is pretty successful, and we ought to be there to defend them.
Do you walk out of there with a high level of confidence that Wisconsin will run the type of election that it should?
Yeah, but I didn't walk in there, with questions that they wouldn't in the first place. But to be honest, there were others who did, who I think have a little more question than I do, a little less confidence. And I would say, speaking on their behalf, they learned something and they walked out of there more confident. They walked out of there ready to go talk to others about this. And so I think that's part of the process. I think we all, when there are legitimate questions, we ought to answer them. But when we know that generally things are done well and done right here, and this is what some of the national experts who were in the room also said, Wisconsin compares favorably to every other state around the country. That one of the differences here is we have 1,800 levels of government, local government here, and almost each one of those has a local election clerk. So we don't, not all those things are done exactly the same way in every community, and we can do some things to standardize that, and there are probably ways to improve, but by and large, these are done very well, and what I learned is we should all have confidence in the process as it stands now.
A big story that's breaking here in Milwaukee this week. The world's tallest mass timber building proposed for Milwaukee again, because it sounds like something we've heard, right? We have this very large timber building.
We had one, and then I think somebody got a little bigger than it somewhere else, and now we're going to go above that. And yeah, this is going back more than 20 years. This is the parking garage that's attached on the other side of the street from the Marcus Center. And I remember there was a project called Ovation Plaza when I first came in with newly elected Mayor Tom Barrett. That was a few years ago. And the proposal there. And ever since that time, the city owns the underlying land. The parking structure has been used by the Marcus Center, and this is an opportunity for us to look at it as a community as something much more significant. I mean, they're talking about hundreds of new residences, a couple 100,000 feet of office tower, retail, some public amenities, 1,000 space garage underneath there. Like that would be hugely significant, and it would be the tallest building, not only the tallest timber in the world, but tallest building in the state of Wisconsin. So this is a mammoth undertaking.
There's so much to think about when it comes to the Milwaukee skyline, which, by the way, was ranked one of the best in the world, I think, recently,
That's
which
right.
I thought was kind of interesting. So, I mean, I think adding to it, there's some intrigue in that. I also wonder about some of those bigger buildings, Joel, that it don't have occupancy on several floors. And what do you do? Is there a conversion attempt to make those into condos or apartments? The traditional downtown office space and really highlighting the office in that term, it's a little different in most communities, but especially Milwaukee. There's a lot of unclaimed space on floors.
Well, there's right at 100 East Wisconsin, a building that used to house lots of law firms and big businesses. They're transitioning that now to entirely residential. There's a few office holders who are still in there, and they're moving them out. The story this week was that they want to go potentially and look at getting some support from the city to do it, which would be a change from the last 25 or 30 years where there really has been very little subsidization of residents, resident housing in the city of Milwaukee. And that started under John Norquist. It continued through Tom Barrett. But times change, and maybe it's an opportunity to look at that. But that is really one of the challenges, is that we're building. There's still a strong market for apartments. There's very little. We talked about a very small condo project, the first in several years, a couple of months ago here. There just isn't much happening on that residential front. And the challenge, as more people work from home and you've got all the telecommuting going on, is that office space is going to be a challenge, I think, for a long period here.
Well, there are two things with this, because this big project that's planned for the Marcus Performing Arts Center parking garage, I mean, it's a big project. Apartments, retail, hotel, parking, and kind of like a plaza as well. But I think about two things. The apartments, because at some point, when do we bottom out and not need apartments anymore? And is it really more about affordable apartments? Because we do see some places where, okay, maybe they're not full. I mean, the Couture is not full at this point. That's an expensive spot to be. Not everybody can be a Couture. We need more affordable housing.
And I think that's part of the what we are all looking at. The Wisconsin Policy Forum just did a study that talked about where we are in building housing, and we're actually lagging behind. Costs are going up for people in apartments, even for some of those affordable apartments, because the demand is exceeding the supply that's coming into the market. And so I don't think we have gotten to the point yet of saturation when it comes to those, needing more residential housing, even in the downtown. But I do agree, and we've talked a lot about this, it needs to be accessible to people of varying income levels. It can't just be the people who can afford the really high-level ones.
Well, I want to ask about the hotel, too, because what I was thinking, 300 hotel rooms, I thought we do need that for things like, we take a look at last week with the RNC. We had people staying in Whitewater. We had people staying in Lake Geneva. And I know a lot of those people, a lot of the delegates who I talked to would have loved to stay right here in the city.
Yeah, and I think what you have seen, that 300 rooms in one hotel would be one of the largest to come around in a while. What we've seen over the last 15 years is a lot of these boutique hotels, 50 rooms, 70 rooms here, and that adds to the inventory here, but it doesn't necessarily help you when it comes to the convention hotel. If you talk to Peggy Williams-Smith and some others, I think at some point the market hopefully will bear a much larger hotel that can be attached to some of those conventions, because again, the hope, I think, and part of the reason for ever doing the RNC here and all that meant is you want more of those citywide conventions coming here over the next decade. And so at some point, we're going to have to continue to build that inventory, but in a way that you can put hundreds of people in the same spot instead of just dozens.
All right, Joel, you can only pick one thing to do this weekend. Are you going to German Fest for a schnitzel? Are you going to check out the Chili Peppers as part of the Harley celebration? You got the Air and Water Show. Brewers will be back with a homestand. You can only pick one.
Well, because I can see the Air and Water Show, I live north of downtown. We pretty much see that over the time. We're not going to
so
go
you don't
down
have
to
to pick that.
I'd go out
you
to the ballpark. It's time to, we need some support. Christian Yelich is hurt, and we may have some challenges there for the long term. So I think it's time for us to go back to the ballpark and support them.
Looking forward to the homestand beginning Friday against the Marlins. Joel Brennan, president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Maybe he could ride a Harley to the game.
Oh, there you go.
And then you just kind of get it all in.
I'll pick you up in my Vespa. How's that sound?
He does. He has a new one.
I just got one. It's fun. It's 12:27 on WTMJ.
Wholesale mulch? No problem. We deliver to residential or wholesale accounts, and we can supply you with whatever volume of the highest quality mulch you need. Nobody around here has more mulch than Erickson's. We'll deliver you a 1-yard pickup truck load all the way up to 100 yards in a walking floor trailer. And if you just need a little bit, swing by and we'll fill up a 5-gallon bucket or two. It's the best mulch you'll find. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Our decorative stone is available by the handful for pickup, all the way up to 24-ton load deliveries. And our stone is superlative. We scour the countryside, countrywide, from Arizona to the Carolinas. We search pretty much the whole U.S. of A. to find you easily the best stone selection in southeastern Wisconsin. See a rainbow of decorative stone colors to match any exterior decor. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Hey, Wisconsin, Greg Matzik here for Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac. Now is a great time to go where summer leads you. Drive inspired year-round in a new Mazda or Mazda certified pre-owned model, whatever is right for you. It's time to connect with Team Holiday. A low simplified buying price awaits. You'll get more for your trade. You stack it all together with savings and the season's best offers. That'll help lower your bottom line and lower your payment. Score generous customer cash on many, or well-qualified buyers can lock in finance rates as low as 0%. Talking about Mazda favorites like the Mazda 3 hatchback, the CX-5, the CX-30, the beautiful CX-50, or the new 3-row CX-90. I've driven that. It is absolutely stunning inside and out. Which Mazda is right for you? Well, you have to test drive and find out for yourself. Check out Holiday and their fun, simple, and pressure-free buying approach. I'm a fan and a repeat customer, and it's with good reason. Put Team Holiday on your side. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac and online at holidaymazda.com. It's worth the trip.
For your next exterior remodeling project, we know you're not asking a lot from us. You want the right products for your situation, you want a few different financing options that can make your project affordable, and you want us to do a good job with minimal disruption to your life. And this one's important. You want a warranty that matters. And we know that checking every box makes all the difference. You might be surprised at how many moving parts go into it, but we have just the right people in all the right places to pull that off every day and make it look easy. The company we have took us 21 years to build. It's an awesome place to work because we never stop improving it. And we think we can do this work so well that we can actually change the reputation of exterior remodelers long term. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Ask about our finance options.
Hey, WTMJ's John Merck here. If you're like me, your home is your happy place, and you spend a lot of time there, and this may have renewed your focus on home projects, let me tell you the company you need to work with. It's the company I trust, CertaPro Painters. Each business is independently owned and operated right here. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. They did the work in our house. Absolutely fantastic. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose Happy, choose CertaPro Painters. Exterior painting still getting booked for the summer. Work with CertaPro Painters.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, July 25th. Your top story, Milwaukee, the motorcycle capital of the United States.
I'm Jessica Ty. New tech at the fair.
Mostly sunny today, a high of 76. Those clouds from the morning should clear up before too long. Clear tonight, a low of 61. Sunny on Friday and a high of 79. It's 72 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:32. Harley-Davidson's now annual homecoming party attracting visitors and riders from all over the world.
My name is Chiara. I come from Italy, Florence, and I am Harley-Davidson biker.
She and her husband, first time in Milwaukee.
Very, very beautiful. The lake, Michigan, everything is very, I like it.
She says they've wanted to visit for years.
I feel enthusiastic and great for this family because this is a big family, Harley-Davidson.
It's why they call it homecoming. Vince Vetrano, WTMJ News.
More than halfway to the goal. Organizers of the effort to recall 4 members of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors are on their way to obtaining the 63,000 signatures needed to trigger the recall election. Dr. Tamika Johnson explains what's motivating the coalition.
We are Milwaukee residents. We live in high crime areas. We see the results of a failed public district. So it's personal to us.
Recall organizers have until August 13th to submit signatures to the city.
Meanwhile, the Milwaukee Public Schools Board of School Directors formalized its selection of Eduardo Galvin as interim superintendent. Board Vice President Julie Gokul-Gandhi says even though this decision was made internally, they're preparing to work with the community during the search for a permanent leader for the district.
We were in a moment of crisis and needed some stability. When we think about a superintendent search, there are going to be community engagement sessions. We're going to have, events in the district where people can come and have a conversation.
Gokul-Gandhi says the district is working with the Department of Public Instruction to relook at its corrective action plan, specifically since the district missed the deadline to have the finance office fully staffed by July 15th.
The Wisconsin State Fair starts 1 week from today. Mark it on your calendar. Give it a circle. You can expect some new technology at the fair this year. Wisconsin State Fair Park CEO Sherry Black tells WTMJ it starts with how you buy tickets for Spin City.
It used to be that you purchased tickets and paid for them with credit card or cash. We no longer have that. We implemented a system in 2021, which we continue to improve upon each year, that now you just purchase a card, like a credit card, and you can use that when you go around and scan. And that helps even the ticket takers no longer counting out tickets. You're just scanning and going.
And if you're looking for food, specifically food on a stick, it's now easier to find exactly what you want right there on your cell phone.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sighting and Limited WTMJ News Time is 12:34.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
Solving your breathing triangle problem can lead to better sleep and a better quality of life. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers are back home after a 4-1 road trip out of the All-Star break. No game for the Brewers tonight. However, they will begin a 6-game homestand on Friday against the Miami Marlins. And no practice for the Packers today, at least not open to the public. The team resumes training camp on Friday. The pads go on for the first time on Saturday.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. I want to give you an update on that disabled vehicle that's just in a bad spot, which is why it's causing some issues. I-43 north at Keefe. That's the Keefe-Atkinson Avenue area. There were at one time about 4 people who were out of the vehicle, and it's a spot where you've got a lane of traffic going straight ahead, trying to go around this vehicle, and then you've got a lane of traffic that's veering off to the right to get off of I-43. It's also where you've got orange barrels because there's construction work going on, so it's just a bad spot. Bottom line, the disabled vehicle is still out there, but I now see a tow truck. Looks like they're trying to get that car on the tow truck, so hopefully in the next 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes or so, that will be out of here. But right now, I-43 north at Keefe, there definitely is a slowdown, and that's because of a disabled vehicle stuck in a bad spot.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
While you're navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line, 414-238-9329.
Nice day today, a high of 76. Mainly sunny. Some clouds lingering right now, but overall, very nice day. Nice, comfortable temperatures. Overnight low of 61. Tomorrow, sunny, a high of 79. Saturday, sunny and a high of 83. Rain returns to the forecast on Sunday. Kind of muggy and humid with a high of 87. It is 72 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:38. President Biden addressed the nation from the Oval Office last night, not getting into extreme detail on the reasons he has stepped back from the presidential race in 2024, ultimately pledging his support for Kamala Harris, the presumptive nominee for the Democratic side. ABC White House correspondent Karen Travers joins us. Any big takeaways for you, Karen, as you watched the address last evening?
You know, I think one big thing was the president saying that it was clear that in this moment he needed to unite the Democratic Party. He said he reveres this office but loves his country more, kind of framing this decision as a patriotic duty. He said nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy, and that includes personal ambition. So he decided that the best way to move forward is to pass the torch to a new generation, that is the best way to unite the nation. He notably never said explicitly, I can't win this election, that the polls were so bad for me I had to drop out. He also never talked about any of the health concerns that some Democrats had expressed about his ability to serve another 4 years in the White House. In fact, he said he thought he merited a second term because of his record, his leadership in the world, and his vision for America's future. But you also got a sense, the implicit concession that the political tides had turned against him, that he was not likely to win the race, and that the better thing to do for the Democratic Party, and as he was putting it, the defense of democracy, was to step aside. He said that is more important than any title.
I think a lot of people are wondering, how did he go from being so adamant that he was going to keep going on with his campaign to believing what he said last night, that it's in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term? Was this explanation good enough for the people watching?
He didn't get into those details last night. And I'll be honest, you're not the first person that's asked me that this morning. I think it's a really important question that maybe people are walking away from the speech feeling a little unsatisfied with the president's explanation, that he didn't get into the details of how he could have such a turnaround from being so insistent in recent weeks that he had more to do, that he wanted to finish the job over the next 4 years, not just over the next 6 months. But the president said that there's a time and place for long years of experience in public life, and there's a time and place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices. And he says that time and place is now. Now, I think we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks, that remember back in 2020, he was at an event in Michigan, and he talked about himself as a bridge, nothing else. He said there's another generation of leaders standing behind him who are the future of this country. Well, that was certainly pitching himself as a transitional president. That changed, of course, when he decided he was going to run for re-election.
Sure.
Now he is getting back to that language of, I'm a bridge to the next generation. But depending on what happens in November, there could be a lot of second guessing about whether the time to pass the torch to the new, fresh, younger voices wasn't July of 2024, but maybe a long time ago.
Karen, the strategy for Kamala Harris, is it digging in on the issues they feel they have an advantage over the Trump group, or is it maybe revising some policies and trying to bring the areas of deficiency back into Democratic control?
I think that they're going to really lean in on a message about Donald Trump. She has made prosecuting the case against Donald Trump a key focus of her speeches so far. And I think that, the Biden campaign had been trying to do this for the last 6 to 8 months, reminding people of what they say was the chaos of the Trump administration and what he has said he would do if given another 4 years in the White House. It's just that it was a harder argument for the president to make as an effective messenger out there. They now believe, the campaign, that Kamala Harris, the vice president, can do this much more effectively. And frankly, it's what we've been hearing from voters that we've been talking to all week as well.
ABC White House correspondent Karen Travers. Always appreciate your time, Karen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Always good to connect with Karen Travers. We'll check in with her again likely tomorrow. We've had a lot of Karen Travers lately.
It's been fantastic.
But she's had very interesting stuff.
And I think it's important, too, because we had so much with the RNC last week. It's a nice balance to get the White House as well. So it was fantastic, I think, on Wisconsin's Midday News to be able to give everybody both.
Coming up next, if you are headed to Brazil for the Packers game, you might want to stay away from the beach. We'll tell you why after this.
Do you remember that electric moment when you suddenly realized that she was the one?
The one you were going to love forever.
The one you'd been waiting your whole life to meet.
She is the one.
The one.
Now it's time to find the one engagement ring that sparkles like she does.
Come to Kessler's Diamonds. We have a collection of incredibly special diamond engagement rings called the One Collection.
You need one special engagement ring for the one woman you will ever love.
Kessler's Diamonds is the one jewelry store where you can find the One Collection.
And Kessler's is the one store that offers the world-famous, no excuses, no fine print, lifetime warranty on every diamond engagement ring we sell.
We have the freedom to do this for you because Kessler's Diamonds is the one diamond store owned by its employees.
The One Collection starts at just $550.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at kesslersdiamonds.com.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at accunet.com.
Start your weekend tonight with a free dinner at the historic and gorgeous Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds. It is the best dining value in the state. Your second dinner is always free. Steak, ribs, seafood, pasta, a big fresh salad, any dinner item on the menu, your second one is free. Desserts and ice cream drinks, yeah, and they're huge. Buy one, get one free. So relax with your favorite beverage in the 8 unique dining rooms or on the patio in the woods. Spectacular views. I love the patio. Celebrate a birthday, an anniversary, or just a quiet dinner with your sweetie. Your second dinner is always free. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the beautiful Holy Hill Shrine. The drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest is a must-see. Weekends might be too busy. Enjoy your free dinner tonight. And the Friday Fish Fry is all you care to eat and one of the best. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Enjoy your free dinner. Tables are open. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, my son's teacher emailed his back-to-school list. He needs crayons and a comp book for every subject. Okay, no problem. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back-to-school. Oh, now they're saying he needs folders and glue. You got it. And markers? Of course. Oh, geez. Can we get a cart, please?
Save big on back to school with Staples Hot Deals. Right now, 24-pack Crayola crayons and comp books are only 50 cents each at Staples. Ends 8/24, in-store only, limit 30.
Okay, nice today, nice tomorrow, nice on Saturday. Sun, 77 to 83 degrees. Chance of rain on Sunday. Can we bump back, please, Charlie? I want the story. I want to get to the story. Okay, I only like it when I'm pretend scared. Over the past several years, we have had to talk about murder hornets, the return of the cicadas, and things that are just sort of creepy, right?
We talk about a lot of strange things every Friday here in Wisconsin's Midday News with our stories of the strange.
Well, this might sound like a questionable mashup of the movies Sharknado and Cocaine Bear. If you're headed to Brazil anytime soon, and some of you listening might be because the Packers begin their season in Brazil, you might want to stay away from the beach and the unpredictable nature of cocaine sharks. What is happening here? ABC's Jim Ryan on a most troubling discovery.
Samples of blood, muscle, and liver tissue from Brazilian sharp-nosed sharks found high concentrations of cocaine. The drug is thought to have come from Rio de Janeiro's sewer discharges, as well as runoff from the illegal laboratories that produce it. Researchers now will study the drug's effect on sharks' health and behavior and try to determine what other species might be testing positive for cocaine.
Okay, that's good. That's all we need now. Are cocaine sharks damaging the beaches? You think a shark is unpredictable when it's not high?
Right. I mean, cocaine, it impacts your brain. And so they're saying that this could ultimately lead to hyperactive behavior among sharks, which I don't even want to know what that includes.
What does that mean?
Yikes.
No.
But this is, I think about, okay, obviously when you hear cocaine, it grabs your attention, right? But think about everything that is adding to water pollution these days that is impacting your animals. There's a lot out there. I mean, I think about it all the time. Even if you just look at Lake Michigan, I mean, there are spots where we definitely just need to clean it up because there's plastic this and there's that and there's just, trash in some spots. And not only does it look bad, but it impacts our animals. And so, yes, cocaine and the sharks, it grabs your attention, but I kind of think it, talks about a bigger story here, too.
The headline in the New York Times, not afraid of sharks? Well, now they're on cocaine.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, well, all right, you've got my attention. Well,
Right?
You think it's tough to get a dog off your leg, a hyperactive shark on cocaine? That might just be the end of it.
Well, and traffickers being chased, sometimes they dump. They're like, oh, gosh, we're being chased. We might get in trouble. So sometimes they dump their cocaine in the high seas. So some people are thinking maybe that's why these sharks had cocaine in their systems. But it's more likely, you just heard Jim mention, that they're being exposed to contaminated wastewater.
Well, there's been all sorts of issues with the waterways and systems in Rio. And this goes back to the Olympics. It goes back way before the Olympics, but it came to light, I think, at a global stage because of the Olympics in Rio. And, we've kind of made fun of what the people in France are doing with the River Seine. You haven't been able to swim in there for 100 years, and all of a sudden, poof, we'll
let's
put
try it today.
$1.5 billion in it to try and clean it up, and that doesn't even work. So I don't think they have shark issues in the River Seine like they do now in Rio. But if you're headed there, and again, you might be, if you're a Packers fan, decided to kick off the season against the Eagles in Brazil, stay away from the beach. You might have to beware of the cocaine shark. You heard it here first. It's 12:50 on WTMJ, an amazing story of longevity after this.
Tony Drake here from Drake & Associates. Big news. Our retirement-ready radio show is moving to a new time slot. Catch us at noon every Saturday. At Drake & Associates, we craft tailor-made plans that not only meet your financial needs, but align seamlessly with your unique lifestyle. Tune in at noon on Saturdays and get retirement ready.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice.
I don't know about you, but all this talk about sharks and drugs is making me hungry. Always a good time for a Palermo's pizza, right? Isn't that a natural segue? They want us to make these conversational. I thought I did a good job with that. No? All right, well, we'll send it to our friends at Palermo. Stick with it. Well, as long as they heard the story beforehand, they'll understand. Hey, there is no bad time for a Palermo's pizza. That really is the headliner here. Palermo's, made in Wisconsin, proudly for over 60 years. 60th anniversary this year, as a matter of fact. They've done it right for decade upon decade, and they keep innovating. This is maybe my favorite thing about Palermo's, aside of the great people they have working for them. It's Urban Pie, it's Connie's, it's Surfer Boy, it's Screamin' Sicilian. They keep innovating. They keep trying to figure out what is best, what's new, what's different, and trying to get into your minds and the mind of your stomach. Palermo's, a great choice. Morning, noon, and night. There's even a breakfast pizza. Check out Palermo's wherever you like to shop. Stop off at the store tonight. Festival Foods, Pick and Save, Sendik's, Piggly Wiggly, Woodman's. Load up the cart, load up the freezer, put one in the oven. Everybody will be happy with Palermo's. It is Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Wrapping up Thursday's Wisconsin's Midday News, Greg and Jessica, till 1 o'clock, then it's spanning the states.
It's a special Thursday, Greg.
Why is that?
Happy 115th birthday
Whoa.
to Elizabeth Francis. She turns 115 today. Can you even imagine that?
Does she live in like Indiana? I feel like anytime we do a story about somebody in their hundreds, it feels like they live in Indiana.
It does sound
I don't
about
know
right,
why.
but no, she's living in Texas.
Okay.
She was born on this day back in 1909. She's lived long enough to see the end of Jim Crow laws, signing of Civil Rights Act into law, the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, so much. The election of the first black president. Think of everything.
The Prohibition, the Roaring 20s, the Great Depression.
She's a history book, right?
That's amazing.
She is also, by the way, she's the oldest person living in the U.S., but she is the fourth oldest living person in the entire world. She has one daughter. She's a single mom. She operated, I liked this, she operated a coffee shop at the ABC news station in Houston to support herself and her daughter for a long, long time. She was at the coffee shop. And she moved in with her daughter in 1999, and one of her granddaughters is her caregiver. And I think this is so sweet. Because her granddaughter is her caregiver, she is still living at home. She gets to live at home still because her granddaughter is taking care of her, and that's so special.
Well, so granddaughter's maybe in her 70s?
I didn't think about that, but...
Maybe? It's possible.
Yeah. Still living at home at the age of 115. She's going to celebrate today. She's a woman of routine, which I think is interesting because a lot of times when you hear about these, somebody turned 101 and you go out to the retirement home or whatnot, it always seems like you expect them to be super healthy. And sometimes it's like, I have a little whiskey every day and I eat chocolate cake, right?
Yeah, the red wine thing, right? I have a glass of red wine every day.
That often is what we hear. But actually this woman, she's a woman of routine. She likes to go to bed early to bed, early to rise. She works hard in her past. Then she'd go home. She'd make a nutritious meal, and she'd spend time with her family. So she kind of just enjoyed a simple life. That's what she loved. She does do a glass of wine from time to time, but she doesn't have a wacky story, and that's okay. She has a very unique story, though, as she turns 115.
Yeah, I don't know if you want the wacky story, right? You kind of do what's gotten you to that point. Maybe it's boring by design, but really good heart health, you'd have to imagine. Able to stave off disease?
Yeah, she doesn't
any
smoke.
Sort of major issues or injuries?
Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, besides that occasional glass of red wine. And she also grew her own vegetables.
Also interesting. Does she still? Does she not do that anymore? You don't do any gardening?
Grew in the past
good point.
tense.
I think about what you just said. So she lived, technically, in the aughts and every decade since, right? The 19 aughts, not the 2000 aughts, right? If you're going to handpick a decade, that would be the question I would ask her.
Yeah.
If you're going to handpick a decade that you could just live, repeat.
I like that.
Year after year, I'm in this decade. What would it be? That would be a fascinating question and answer.
Well, you know what? We're going to Google her phone number. We're going to call her up tomorrow on the show. We'll see if her granddaughter answers for her, and we'll ask her that. That's a fantastic question. I love that. I guess longevity runs in the family, too, because her older sister lived to the age of 106.
Oh, jeez.
But she's well beyond that.
Gosh.
115. So happy birthday,
goodness.
Elizabeth Francis. Enjoy your 115th birthday.
What an unbelievable story. A reminder, 1 week from today, Jessica and I will be out at the Wisconsin State Fair. Come check us out. We're down near the expo. We've got our big broadcast pavilion set up. We are going to have so much fun broadcasting from the fair, but we really want to enjoy it with you because we know our fans and listeners really enjoy the Wisconsin State Fair. So let's have fun together next week. You will see us out there every day beginning Thursday of next week. Spanning the State is next after the news on WTMJ.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Time for another new coat of paint on your house? Get Rhino Shield ceramic coating. You won't have to paint again for 25 years guaranteed. Right now, get $1,500 off with 12 months same as cash financing. Visit RhinoShieldWIS.com.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Have you heard the buzz? I'm not talking about the latest tabloid gossip. I'm referring to the buzz from the Wire.